My name's Coach Tommy. I work at the Southington YMCA Sports Performance Center. Today we're going to take you through a training experience that we give all of our athletes that come in here. Doesn't matter what their age is, right? We have middle school kids all the way up to college athletes, and they all kind of do some variation of what we're going to do today. All right? You don't need really a lot of equipment, maybe a chair, all right? A pad if you've got one, and about 10 feet of space. If you don't have that much space, that's okay. We'll give you some variations to kind of do in place. All right? Ultimately, our goal today is to kind of take an inventory as to how you feel internally, physically, right? Kind of get an idea of, do my muscles feel like they're doing what they're supposed to? My joints should feel pretty good, and we're going to do that through a couple different stages, right? The first thing we want you working on is just some good breathing and kind of getting those lungs and everything kind of expanding and feeling air moving in and out, all right? And then we'll start to progress all the way up to some dynamic movement, right? Some skipping and jumping, even to some strength work towards the end. Right? So take your time. I'll guide you through everything. And what I want you really being aware of is, man, how do I feel as I go through this stuff? Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is all fours breathing. All right? I want you to get on your hands and knees. My shoulders are going to be just over my hands. My knees are going to be just underneath my hips. I want you to push your upper back to the ceiling as high as you can. All right? And then pretend if I had a tail, I want to tuck it underneath me. All right, so everything is going up to the ceiling. I've got this big upper back, and then I'm just going to shift my weight forward a little bit without losing that tuck position. From here, I want you to take a nice smooth breath in through your nose, and then blow all the air out through your mouth. All right, I want you thinking about taking a nice silent inhale through the nose, and then I want to audibly hear you breathe and try to blow a hole through the floor. We'll get one more. All right, so I should feel kind of things stretching out in my upper back. I maybe feel my abs working a little bit, but more importantly, I've got this nice inhale and then this good exhale. Okay, so next, we're going to go with what we call a hollow body hold. All right, we're going to start on our back. Our knees are going to be in the air. Our hands are going to be up by our knees. They're not touching our knees. They're just off to the side. I'm going to tuck my chin and then roll my chest up. In this position, I want you to feel just kind of your trunk doing some work. If it's pretty easy, you can straighten your legs out. All right? You can even point your toes if you want. What I should feel is these guys working pretty hard. Notice my shoulder blades are off the ground. What I don't want you doing is sitting straight up. All right? So really, we're just going to start from here, roll up, and just hold it. And if that's pretty easy, we can go into this legs out position. All right? We got about another 3 seconds. Awesome. Next, we're going to go into glute bridge marching. We're going to get our feet kind of close to our butt. Our hands are by our sides. We're going to push our hips up to the ceiling, and then I want you just to march. All right, we're going slow. Notice that my hips haven't dropped at all. All right, so I'm pushing my shoe hard through the floor to keep my hips up every time it makes contact with the ground. All right, and what I should feel is kind of my hip and my leg doing some work to kind of hold me off the floor. I don't want that rib cage up really high. We want it kind of down and just make sure our hips are up. All right, we're going to go for another 5 seconds. Awesome. Next, we're going to pull our knees up in the air again. Our hands are going to reach up to the ceiling. My thumbs are going to point backwards. All right, I'm going to make sure that I've got this space flat in the ground. And I'm going to just reach my arms long and back. All right, so I'm reaching up, head stays down, and then all the way back. I want to feel just my shoulders moving, right, and my arms, not my whole rib cage or back. So everything stays fixed into the ground, and my hands are just going back. I'm just touching my thumbs to the floor, as you can see, and then coming back up. Excellent. So now that we've got some things kind of moving around, let's get into a little bit more of our dynamic stuff. So we're going to start with just some skipping. All right, I want you to be slow, controlled, and rhythmic, which means opposite arm and leg. All right, just this kind of nice, easy. If we can, let's go backwards. All right, rhythm, loosening things up a little bit, getting a little bit of hopping involved. All right, if I don't have enough space to go forwards and backwards, I can just skip in place. All right, there's nothing wrong with this. This is perfectly fine to kind of get moving. All right, so next, we're going to go with what we call a high knee pop run. I want you thinking about bringing your foot up to the bottom of you, not behind you, and not too far in front. So I'm going to start slow and low, right? And then we go into this easy back pedal. All right, so, and then I'm just going to start to build it up and bring my foot up a little bit higher each time, and then this easy back pedal. All right, so a little bit higher each time. Now you can see I've got my knee coming up and my foot almost hit me in my bottom, and I'm coming back. All right, if we don't have space, we can just go in place. All right, so again, we're working on some of these running mechanics and really starting to get the body moving. Next, we'll go with a lateral shuffle. So I'm going to start in an athletic stance, shuffle out, going side to side. I want you guys to notice as I go to change direction, look at the space I'm leaning. Right? I'm leaning to the direction I want to go and loading this foot as opposed to then pushing off. All right, so we're just moving and sliding. If I don't have a ton of space, right, just take 2 steps. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, and again, you can see I'm leaning over the leg I want to go. That makes us really fast when we come out of a cut. So if I come in here, boom, I can go as opposed to having to and then push and go. All right, so you should feel your heart rate up a little bit. We should kind of feel a little bit warmed up. We've got some movement going. We're going to go down to the floor again, and we're going to start to, again, kind of give ourselves this opportunity to get into this opposing arm and leg action, which is what we do when we run, when we sprint, when we walk, okay? So we're going to bear crawl. There's a ton of ways to bear crawl. The way we like to do it here is kind of keeping our butt a little bit low and making sure we go slow with small steps. All right, so I'm going to get kind of in my all fours position again. I'm just going to lift my knees up, and we're going to take a small step, opposite arm and leg. All right, and then we'll go backwards. All right, and again, if we don't have a ton of space, just go forward 1, 2, and then go backward 1, 2. The big thing here is making sure you can see my right arm and my left leg are moving at the same time. All right, and they're in sync. All right, the next one we're going to do is one of my favorites. All right, we call this supine rocking. So we're going to hug our knees to our chest, and we're going to rock back onto our upper back as much as we can, and then rock back up. So we're going to go all the way back, and then come all the way up. All right, you see how smooth and rhythmic this is? What we don't want to have happen is and get stuck, and then have to come up here, or go and just kind of fall backwards. All right, so we want to keep our knees in tight, big upper back, or as we like to call, give me a turtle shell, right? And then rolling, okay? So next, we're going to go back to our bear crawl again. All right, so again, hands and knees, and just opposite arm and leg are moving. All right, and then backwards. All right, if your hips go up in the air, that's not the end of the world. Just think about always keeping your knees kind of close to the floor. All right, if your hips are kind of wiggling around, that's okay too, as long as we kind of get our arms and legs working in the same fashion, okay? What you wouldn't want to have is someone walking with the same arm and leg moving forward, all right? It just doesn't look right, and it also keeps us off balance. So if I had someone bear crawling and they're going, all right, you can see how different that looks as opposed to this. Okay, so more importantly than speed is making sure we're doing it correctly. All right, so we're going to go back to our rocking. All right, again, try to keep it as tight as you can. Turtle shell back, and then we're going back, and then up. All right, if we want to add a breathing component, breathe in through your nose, exhale. All right, you can say, why do we do that? When we breathe in, things should expand. It's going to give my ability, my upper back and everything in my rib cage, the ability to expand. And then when we come up, we should exhale and compress. It gives me the power to come back up. Okay? So we did those 2 exercises. We did 2 rounds. You could do more, but we're going to stop there. We're going to move on to our next which is our athletic fast feet. All right? So this is a great one to start all of our drills for changing direction, getting our athletic stance and kind of getting our feet moving. And we use it as a precursor to all of our sprint mechanics when we turn and run out of a cut. So I'm going to get my feet just about hip width apart, a little bit wider. All right, my hands are going to be in front, and I just want you to tap the floor. All right, excellent. What I want you to think about on this is don't pick your feet up too high and don't keep your feet on the ground too long. Right? It's kind of in between. We want to be quick off the floor and we want to be in the air, but not too long on both. We're going to add another component to it. We're going to call a lateral jab with the right leg. So we're going to get our stance. We're going to go feet. Quick snap to the right. All right, and then we rest. All right? So get the feet going here, and that's just a quick. Pretend like you're stepping on a bug, and then you're getting off of it, okay? So the goal is if we were to actually add it into a running drill, I can then turn and run as quick as possible, all right? So let's go to the left this time. Feet are a little bit wide. We're going to get our feet going, and it's just a quick snap. All right, as you get more comfortable, we can go a little bit faster and get speed, but more importantly, stay in control and feel rhythm. All right, we're going to go into a plank as a active recovery, all right? So we're going to go for 20 seconds. You can do it on your elbows or hands. We like to do it on our hands here. So hands directly underneath the shoulders. Legs are going to be out. I want you to think about pushing, again, the upper back a little bit to the ceiling, and you see my hips are level with my shoulders. They're not down here, and they're not up there. They're just in a straight line. All right, we're just going to hold it here. What you should feel is kind of like your upper body getting some tension, and probably your stomach doing a little bit of work. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So we're going to add one more piece to our fast feet. Okay? We have regular fast feet. We have our lateral jab. We have our diagonal jab. All right? So our diagonal jab is out in front. And this is for, we're coming up, we diagonal jab, and then we can turn and run in the opposite direction, or we can come to a dead stop and then be able to shuffle. All right, so you can see where all these foot positions come into play in our athletic population. But even in real life, right, if I kind of slip, I got to be able to get my foot out there to stop me. All right, so we're going to start in our athletic stance. Right foot first. We're going, and we're going to snap it out. All right, you can see I'm turning my hips a little bit, and I'm jamming that foot out and then coming back. Right? If you notice, my torso doesn't really move much because I don't want to lose sight of what's in front of me. So I don't want to do this. It's just there, and then I'm coming back. All right, so rest for a second. Get the feet going again, and then we'll do the left side. So athletic stance, feet are going, left. One more. Excellent. All right, and as a bonus, we have a fourth one. Okay? So the fourth one is a hip flip. We don't do the fast feet. We do more of this bouncing. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to bounce, and then it's a quick hip flip, and then back. Okay, so again, notice my torso stays facing forward. My hips are just shifting a little bit. All right, so bouncing, we're going to go to the right. Excellent. Let's rest for a second. All right, and then we're going to go back to the left. All right, here we go. Bouncing, hips go to the left. All right, again, small bounces. I don't need to be jumping high. I want to be fast. Last one. Excellent. All right, let's go to our pad again or the floor. We're just going to do our push-up. All right, if you found the 20 seconds was too hard and things were just kind of starting to sag, right, where you look like a melted candle, things were just kind of like leaning to one direction, just rest. Right? We don't have to do the full 20 seconds. I want you to feel strong while you do it as opposed to like fighting for dear life to kind of hold yourself up. Okay? So hands over the or shoulders over the hands. Right here, we're going to hold it. All right, again, think about breathing in through the nose and a good exhale out. All right, how we develop competency in a position is, can you breathe slowly and smoothly as opposed to, man, if I'm fighting really hard, I got to hold my breath. I know we're kind of at our capacity. All right, we got another 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Excellent stuff. All right, so that's kind of our initial warm-up and also agility for the beginning of our training sessions. Right? If you can figure out how to loop all those things together, man, you're on your way to really crushing some change of direction drills and also being able to control your body in motion, which is all of what sports and kind of life is. Okay, so next, we're going to our jumping mechanics. All right, so we call this one a snap down. We're going to have our hands up in front. All right, then we'll go up on our toes, and then it's a quick drop down into a jumping position. All right, so when we're thinking about how we land and how we jump, we want to make sure that we are in the most efficient position possible. For some people, that means their landing spot might be a little bit lower. For others, it might mean a little bit higher. All right? So you figure out what feels good and what you can jump out of really well. There's no standard position. What I don't want, though, is I don't want you landing on your toes. So I don't want you coming up and just landing like this with my heels off the ground. I want you to find that bottom position very quickly. Okay? So we're going to do 3 of them, and then we're going to do some single leg jumps. So hands are up, we're on our toes, and then down. All right? You're pretending like you're in an elevator and the cable just got cut and you're going to the basement as fast as possible. All right? So hands are up, toes, down. All right, we're going to do one more. Hands are up, toes, down. All right, so now we're going to go into just some single leg hops. We'll go forward and backwards and then side to side. All right, forward and back is 1. We're going to do 5. So on my right foot, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Pretend there's a line that you're jumping over. Make it smooth, make it rhythmic, and also try to make it the same every time. So we're not jumping all over the place. So now I'll go to my left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we'll go side to side. Same thing. Here's my line. I'm going over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? We're going to add in the jump to the snap down. So now you're going down and then up as quick as you can. So hands are up, toes, down, up. All right? So if you notice, man, my arms are going down as fast as they can, and then they're coming right back up as fast as they can. That helps with your jumping tremendously. Okay? So hands are up, toes, down, and then up. All right? So do one more of those. Hands are up, toes, down as fast as you can, then up as fast as you can. Okay? You can practice that all day long. Those are fantastic for grooving that explosive lower body position and the arm drive that gets you to jump really high. Okay? So we're going to go back to our single leg jumps. All right? So I'm going to draw my line right there, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right? So we're bumping up a little bit of volume. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right? Same line, 10 each leg going side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you notice, my torso doesn't really move too much. It kind of stays over the line. That allows my foot to go side to side. If my torso goes with it, you see how everything's going that way? And I can't go back. So I want you thinking about keeping the torso in one spot. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right? So that's a little bit of our jumping protocol. You guys probably did fantastic with it. All right, just keep practicing. Ideally, we want to get to where we can go really fast, right? Or we can add it into a pattern. So forward, back, side, forward, back, side. All right, and we can kind of start to get into these really complex movements. All right, so next, we're going to get into a little bit of our strength, okay? So for This, we can use the chair. All right, we have a couple different options. Doesn't have to be like the best chair in the world, just something that we can support ourselves on. All right, and it's also going to give us a little bit of a cue as to how far things should be moving. So the first one is a split squat. All right, our split squats are our best lower body exercise we have in the facility. Okay, if there's one exercise that I wish everybody did, this would be it. Okay, so we're going to go with about half a shoe away from the chair. All right, because what I want is I want that knee to go forward a little bit, but not so much that it starts to pick my front heel up. Okay, so we're going to go about half a shoe away from the chair. I'm going to get my other foot behind me, and I'm just going to bend my knees and drop straight down and then come straight back up. All right, you don't have to touch your knee to the floor, but we want to kind of get pretty close. All right, you can see his front foot is just planted into the ground. This back heel never really goes back. Right? I don't want to shift all the way back. I'm going to lose my balance. I want to keep weight kind of loaded over that front leg. All right, we're going to do 2 more. All right, and this chair kind of prevents me from going too far forward. So then I'm just going to switch legs. All right, I'm just going to drop down and then back up. And I should feel these legs doing some work, right? I should feel some tension in this thigh and in my hip and in this back thigh. I should feel a little bit more work. All right, and then the next exercise is one that we see done not the best a lot, all right, and that's a push-up. So we have a couple different variations we can do here. All right? You can do a regular push-up, hands just outside shoulder width, underneath our shoulders, legs are straight back, and we're just going to bend our elbows, drop down, and then come back up. If you notice my elbows, they didn't go way out to the side. They kind of were on this 45, down by my sides a little bit degree angle. We don't want them in tight, right? None of these are necessarily wrong. They're just we want to kind of be in the middle as much as we can, right? For some people, this may be good. For some people, this may be good. But more often than not, this is probably our best bet, okay? So if I have trouble with that, I can do a push-up lower, which means all I have to do is slowly lower to the floor, right? And then I can come up however I want. Here's what we don't want. We don't want to look like this. All right, where everything else except for my chest goes down. We want everything to move as a unit and then be able to push up. So we're going to do 5. You can either do 5 regular ones or you can do 5 push-up lowers. All right? If we're going to default to anything, do the push-up lowers, okay? Because we know those are going to probably look better than everything else. So we're going to do a push-up lower, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If that's even too fast or too slow, we can go 3, 2, 1. We just want it to be under control. 3, 2, 1. Notice how everything moves as a unit. And I'm not letting my hips go down first, or I'm not just dive bombing my chest down. Everything kind of goes slow. All right? The best way you can describe it is like a moving plank. All right? So we'll go back to our split squats. Again, I'm about a half a shoe length away from the chair. And I'm just going to drop straight down and then come up. All right, we're going to do 8 of them, and then switch legs. Five, 6, 7, 8. Excellent. So we'll go back to our push-ups. All right, so I'll do 5 regular ones so you guys can see what those look like. But again, if they don't feel perfect, just do the push-up lowers. And even if the push-up lowers are still hard, you can always do them from your knees to take a little bit more away. All right? There's no wrong way to do them as long as the technique is perfect. Okay? So if I want to do the push-up lowers on my knees, and that's where you feel the best, where you can hammer the technique, that is way better than doing them the regular way and butchering them. Okay? So let's do the 5 ones where we're going to go down and then push back up. All right? So do what works for you best, which this may be it. All right, and feel the right things doing the job. I should feel kind of my upper chest. I should feel the back of my arms. I should not feel my low back, and I shouldn't feel up kind of in my neck. All right? So next, we're going to go to what we call a single leg, stiff leg deadlift hold, or for short, SSLDL. All right? We're going to use our chair to help us. This is another, again, one of our favorite exercises. Okay? So we're going to kind of lean forward. I'm pretending I'm like a stork. All right? I've got one leg up in the air. I've got almost a straight line from my heel all the way to my head, and I'm just going to shift back. And what I should feel is the back of this leg kind of getting some stretch. All right? I don't want to be leaning into the chair. I want to shift away as much as I can. All right? Notice my hips are facing the floor. All right? What I don't want is from the spin open. So I don't want to go like this. All right? So pretend I've got a laser beam on both hips facing forward. Let's turn the lasers down to the ground, all right, and then shift back. And man, you should feel a lot of work being done in that back leg. Good. Let's try the other side. All right, so I'm just going to throw a leg up, turn my hips to the floor, turn the lasers down, and then I want you just to shift back, driving this foot back as far as you can, and feel this whole back of your leg kind of getting some tension. You got another 3 seconds there. 3, 2, 1. All right, and then we're going to go into a downward dog position. All right, so we can move our chair a little bit if we need to. And we're back in our push-up position, and now we're going to drive our tailbone up to the ceiling and drop our head down. All right, and then come back. Okay? I'm going to try to push my heels to the floor and push my hips up to the air. All right, I'm trying to touch my hips to the ceiling and then coming back. All right, you may need to adjust if you're slipping a little bit, each one, that's okay. All right, I want you thinking, I'm going to push my hands through the ground as hard as I can, drive my heels down as hard as I can. I'm trying to make like a big triangle. We got one more, and I should feel some stretching kind of in the back of my legs, maybe in my upper back. Excellent. All right, we're going to come back to our chair. If you can do it without the chair, man, that's awesome. All right, but again, let's make sure our technique is good first before we start making things harder. All right, so I'm going to go, both hands, reach back, drive my leg up, lasers down to the floor. If I'm feeling pretty good and I've got that tension through that leg, we can take one hand off. All right, make sure we're shifted back. We don't want to be leaning forward. Push that foot back behind you. If I'm feeling like a rock star, try to take both hands off and just hold it. Excellent. Let's try the other leg. All right, so I'm going to drive that leg up in the air. Get my hands on there for a little balance. If we don't have a chair or something, we can always use the wall, right, and hold that one as well. And we're just going to hang out here for a second. Notice that my knee is over my ankle. It's not over my toes. All right? And I have a soft bend. I'm not completely straight-legged. So soft bend, lasers down to the floor, reach back as far as we can. You can take a hand off if you want. Try it with both, and then come up. That one's a really hard one to do, but it's awesome if you can get it. All right, we'll go back to our down dog position. All right, hands, knees, everything is going to be on a line, and we're going to drive straight up. So legs are pretty locked out. I'm trying to drive my heels. I'm pushing my hands to the ground and then coming back. All right, take a nice breath in through the nose. Hips go up, hold it for a second, exhale, and then come back, right? You should feel some stretching, maybe even in your calves, right? Again, we're trying to notice, what do we feel, right? The better we can kind of stay in connection with what our body's telling us, the better off we're going to be able to make adjustments and actually make it efficient and get the most out of it than if we just kind of ignore some of those signals it's sending us. Last one. Excellent. All right. So our next piece is we're going to go with a squat hold. All right. Again, same thing like our split squats and our SSLDL. There's a bunch of different ways we can do this. Ultimately, you want to do the version that feels best. Okay. So if I feel stuff in my knees or I feel like my back is doing work, let's try a different strategy. Okay, so what we're going to do is we typically start with our feet just about hip width apart, a little bit wider. Your toes can be slightly turned out or they can be facing forward, up to you. All right, I'm going to put my hands out in front. I'm going to bend my knees a little bit first, and then I'm going to kind of stick my butt back and down and just hold it. All right, what we don't want is this, right, or this. All right, we want to keep our feet flat on the ground. All right, it doesn't mean you can't shift a little weight from forward to back, but the foot should stay flat on the ground, and our torso should not be pitched completely forward. All right, so I'm going to show you one more time. We got to hold this for 15 seconds. All right, so we should feel our legs kind of burning as we go and doing it. All right, so hands are out, bend the knees a little bit, and then sit straight down. There it is. All right, we're going to hold it. We got about 10 seconds left. Don't lose it. If your arms are getting tired, you can just put them down. Don't rest on them. 3, 2, 1. All right, we should feel this whole hip girdle and our quads doing some work. All right, we're going to go down. We're going to go back to our plank position. All right, we're going to hold that for 20 seconds. All right, so hands are underneath shoulders, and we're just going to hold it. All right, if you're feeling pretty good, we can add in a slow knee come up, and then the other knee come up. Again, this is slow. All right, notice how none of this stuff we do in our strength component is necessarily fast. We did the fast stuff earlier, right? That's our jumping, that's our skipping, that's our fast feet directions. When we do some of our strength stuff, we want to be in control. We want to develop competency. So if I was doing my squats and I was just going, right, does that really look efficient or does it look good? No, you know when things look right. So let's go back to our squat. All right, we're hands out, soften the knees a little bit, and then just drop down. All right, as slow as you can go. If this is as low as you can go and you feel good, go for it. If you can get down a little bit lower, awesome. Don't hang out at the bottom. That does us no good. We want to kind of hang out right where we start to feel some tension in our legs. All right, we got 10 seconds left. Keep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. All right, so we're going to go back to our plank one more time. All right, and same thing. If you feel like you got the plank down, add in the slow legs for the 20 seconds. Okay, so we're going to go here, and we're just bringing a leg up slowly. All right, remember, guys, you don't have to keep up perfectly with me. If you're getting tired or if you feel like you can go a little bit longer, go a little bit longer. All right, we're going to do another 2 each leg. 1, 1, 2, 2. All right. We're going to finish out with one really long squat hold. All right, I want you to go as long as you can, really feel these legs burning, all right? But again, technique is crucial. So if you start to feel your feet coming off the floor or you're starting to pitch too far forward your chest, just stop. All right, we're going to try to go for 25 seconds, maybe even 30. You guys ready? Hands are out, soft knees, drop down and hold it. All right, and most of the times, as our athletes get really good with this, we'll have them hold a weight here. All right, and then you can kind of see how all of a sudden that becomes much more difficult. Another thing to look at is look at my shin and my torso angle. Right, they're pretty much parallel. Right, they're almost going in the same direction. That's what we're searching for. We don't want to be way too high. We kind of want to find that position where they're in a line. All right, we got another 10 seconds. Try to hold it. All right, keep this position. Feel your feet flat in the ground. Keep breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. Feel it all in there. That was fantastic. Okay. So we're going to finish up with 2 of our favorite breathing drills. All right, we're going to use our chair, or you can use the wall. All right, they're called 90-90 breathing. All right, and our last one is what they call crocodile breathing. All right, so 90-90 breathing, we're going to get our knees at a 90-degree bend and our hips at a 90-degree bend. Okay, so we should have this nice straight line going down, right, and nice straight line going across, and my back is flat on the floor. All right, I'm going to dig my heels into the chair and scoop my butt up a little bit. What I don't want is for everything to come up, right? It's just my hips. They're just going to roll up a little bit. All right, we're going to take a nice breath in here, through the nose, out through the mouth, and then I'm going to take my right foot and hold it up in the air. All right, so I'm just feeling this left leg really tight, kind of in the back of it, holding my hips off the floor, and I'm going to breathe. All right, a lot of us, man, we might feel this guy cramping up or getting really tense. Try to breathe. Don't hold your breath and fight it. Just try to go in through your nose. Big exhale out. If it's too much, right? Sometimes it's too much for me. I'm going to keep both feet on there and scoop, and I'm just going to hold this. And I'm going to breathe. All right, we're going to do 2 more breaths. In through the nose. And remember, you're going to try to blow a hole through the ceiling. 1 more. Excellent. All right, so you should feel that back of the left leg doing some work, or both legs. All right, and then crocodile breathing. All right, I'm just going to take the microphone off for a second. We're going to make sure we're breathing in through our chest and in kind of in our stomach. All right, so we want to kind of put our hands on our forehead. All right, we're going to take a nice breath in through our chest and then blow it all out. All right, what you're looking for here is to feel your upper back expand and feel your stomach and chest expand into the floor. Okay, so slowly in through the nose and blow it all out. In through the nose and blow it all out. I want you guys to do 2 more breaths like that. And while you're doing that, I just want you to feel everything soften into the ground. Right? So with a nice smooth in through the nose, you feel everything expand. And then with a nice full exhale, just feel everything soften back down into the floor and everything relaxes. All right, you're going to do 1 more breath. Take your time with it. Go in through your nose. Things inflate and expand, upper back, the stomach, the chest. And then like a balloon that's deflating, just let everything come back down to the ground. All right? So what we just did, as you guys kind of roll over, wake up a little bit, we took your system, we did some warm-up stuff, we got you moving, we got you breathing, and then we started taking it to like some high-performance stuff where we're jumping, we're skipping, we're doing some hiney pop runs, and then we took it towards this strength exercise where you're controlling the motion of the joint, right, in adding some tension to the tissues where we want to actually build up some competency in specific patterns, and then we brought you back down with our breathing drills, all right? Fantastic job. I want you guys to think about how you feel. What do you notice? Holy cow, did I kind of work up a little bit of a sweat? Was I breathing a little bit hard? Do my legs and arms feel like they did a little bit of work? That's always the goal. And do you feel better at the end? All right? I hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the week or the weekend. And if you ever want to do this workout again, you can always have access to it.